So I want to welcome everyone here to the grand opening of Martin County Fire Rescue Station 14. My name is Chad Chanchuli. I'm the Fire Chief of Martin County Fire Rescue. Thank you. If I may ask you all to please rise for the posting of the colors, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Over, on. Hey. Over, on. Thank you. Please be seated. Next, I would like to invite up Chief Sean Lissaway for our invocation.
Good morning. While there may not be a specific verse that references the opening of a new fire station, there are many passages that talk about the importance of being thankful for the blessings in our lives. One verse that comes to mind is Psalm 107, verse 1. It says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his love endures forever." This psalm reminds us that no matter what trials we face in life, we can always find something to be thankful for, as God's love for us is unchanging and steadfast. Let's ask God's blessing upon this community and the firefighters that will be assigned here at this beautiful new fire station. Let's bow. Dear Lord, we pray for your watchful care and protection for this community and this new station, that it would represent a beacon of light, signifying hope and peace, knowing that it hosts responders ready to answer the call for help. May all the firefighters who are called to service from this station be brought under your protection. Give them the courage, wisdom, and strength they will need for difficult situations. Ground them in awareness of their special calling and help them focus on teamwork, integrity, and concern for the suffering. Guide and assist them always in their work. Keep them from harm and return them home safely to their families. Finally, we ask that you bless this ceremony and all who are gathered here today. May it be a time of joy, celebration, and gratitude. We pray this in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Sean. Now I'd like to go ahead and recognize some of the dignitaries that we have us with today, and also our county leadership. First, I'd like to recognize the Board of County Commissioners, the chair of the board, Commissioner Campy. County Commissioner Doug Smith. We have our state representative, John Snyder. A representative from Congress Mast Office, Angel Robertson. Representing the Martin County School District, Jennifer Russell, Vice Chair. We have Stacy Hetherington here, County Commissioner. She's not sitting in the right seat. Thank you.
She's also part-time ninja, in case you guys didn't know that. We also have a town manager from Souls Point, Robert Daniels. Our county leadership, we have County Administrator Don Donaldson. Assistant County Administrator Matt Graham. Our County Attorney Sarah Woods. And our Deputy County Attorney Elise Elder. I want to thank you all for being here. Today's a really remarkable day, and it's been a long time coming. But what I want to do is really just take a very short moment of time and just talk to you about the significance of Martin County Fire Rescue. But more importantly, I couldn't do that without sharing the mission of the Board of County Commissioners. Their number one mission in this community is the safety of our public. So not only do they publicly advocate for that, but they actively invest in it. And I'm going to share some of those investments because as a taxpayer of Martin County, I want to know what that return on investment is. What does that equal to you? Because I live here too, and I understand this. So first, I want to start with fire rescue itself. You talk to any fire rescue agency, and it's always going to be about the level of service and the efficiency of how they deliver that level of service. In other words, how quick can we make it to your emergency to give you that critical care that you're requesting? So we're going to talk about that, but before I can do that, I have to give you the context of time. Now, this may be a little uncomfortable, but first, when we say seconds count, seconds make a difference, seconds save lives, it's not a catchphrase, it's real. But I need you to understand the context of time. So that was awkward. So that was 15 seconds of time we just shared with each other. Now, for some of you, that may seem longer. For me, it was a pretty long time, but I want to put you on an emergency scene and understand what a second means to people. But first, before I put you on that scene, I want to talk about the efficiencies of how we get there. So we're going to go on this call together. Let's start with this. The bay that we're sitting in right now. This is where we house all of our emergency vehicles. This is where they respond to your emergency call. So behind me, you see bifold bay doors. Behind you, you have roll-up doors. The difference of the two, the vehicles responding to your call exit behind me. These doors open 2 to 3 times faster than the doors behind you. Those are seconds gained that is given back to the public in their time of need. 2, this driveway behind me, when they exit the door and they make it up to the main road to start actually going to your emergency call, if you know the station 14, the old station, it was a very long driveway. This driveway is about 1/3 that distance, which means I'm getting on the road sooner and I'm responding to your call quicker. Again, second saved. Now let's navigate to this call together. As we drive to your call, there are multiple traffic intersections that we have to go through. And I don't care what part of the country you're from, you ever see an emergency vehicle come up and you're at a still red light, it gets a little chaotic. And traditionally, the way we approach these lights, we come up to the intersection, light sirens, we approach it, and then we usually try to flank around the outside of it and slowly proceed through that intersection. However, there are times where we come up to these intersections, they are so busy that we actually come up to it, we stop, we shut our lights off, we shut the sirens off, and we do it because we're afraid we're going to create another incident, and we don't want that. Light turns green, we turn it back on, we proceed to the call. The investment that the county commissioners have made is in technology. So every busy intersection right now in Martin County has something called traffic preemption. And what that technology does, it recognizes our emergency vehicles before we make it to the intersection, and it changes the flow of traffic in favor of the emergency vehicle. It doesn't matter if they're taking a left turn or a right turn, traffic preemption will recognize what the driver of that truck is doing, and it will change the course of flow so they catch a green light all the way to your house. They get to speed and they stay at speed. That's 3. Fourth thing, for those that live in a gated community, we traditionally go up to a gated community and we have a special key to open up your gate of your HOA to respond to your emergency. I have these special keys locked in every truck. I have another key that unlocks that special key. I get to your gate, I unlock that key, take that special key out, get out of the truck, run up to the gate, override the system, let the trucks go through, put it back into a normal operation to close the gate, run through the gate, jump back in the truck, and go to your emergency. Nothing about that sounds efficient, not at all. What we have right now is an ordinance countywide that all HOAs are now responsible for. It's called remote gate access, and it's a click to enter program. What that means, the trucks come up, click the button on a radio frequency, opens up that gate, trucks go right through, barely even stopping, and the gates at a predetermined time will close right behind them. So think about that. I shared only 4 small items about the efficiency of fire rescue. Those equal seconds turned over to our public in need. Now, I'm gonna bring into the cultural of the men and women that are here in fire rescue, the calls they run on a daily basis, routine calls. First, I want you to think about this. The mother that calls us with her infant, holding her infant in her arms that is lifeless, unresponsive, choking, no airway. If I told that mother I can get there a minute sooner, we are making a difference for that infant and for that family. 2, if you have a family member that has a cardiac arrest in your kitchen and drops on the floor, they are unresponsive, unconscious, they don't have a heartbeat, they are not breathing. They can only sustain that mode for a very minimal amount of time before it's irreversible consequences. What I'm telling you, if we get there a minute or 2 sooner, we can change a life. And lastly, we'll talk about motor vehicle accidents. You may have seen a fender bender just on a way to this grand opening right now. They happen all over the county. But I'm talking to ones that are significant, heavy in trauma. Those are the individuals that we call a trauma alert. These are the individuals that we have to fly to a trauma center. Mind you, we do not have a trauma hospital in Martin County. We fly you to the county north of us or the county south of us. But we have to remember, we only have a 60-minute window to get you to that facility. That is statistically proven. If you sustain trauma and you meet that golden hour and you're at the surgery center with that trauma surgeon receiving that care, that statistically proves you have a higher probability of survival. So my point is, if I'm telling you I can get to that vehicle accident and I can cut somebody out of the vehicle sooner and save them a minute or 2 and hand that to the trauma surgeon, that will save a life. So as a taxpayer, when you ask the question, what is my return on investment? My answer to you is time. So with that, I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners with their investment into the community and their investment into fire rescue. Thank you. Okay, now I'd like to invite up, excuse me, Don Donaldson, our County Administrator, for remarks.
Thank you, Chief. And as always, it's important to recognize why this building is here and the service that you provide to us. And it's certainly a great honor to present to you today some of those that helped work on it. This facility took a long time getting here. There was a lot of discussion about where we would construct it to begin with, whether we rebuild it at the current site that it's at, or ultimately choosing this site. There was an old facility here. Would we retrofit that? And ultimately, I think the design we came up with is the right design. A brand new station with all the benefits of technology to both serve the men and women, but also our community. So it is, I'd also like to take the time to recognize some of our staff and the folks that helped make this happen. And General Services has certainly put a lot of effort into this. Bill Bergstrauser is our project manager, who has really been from the beginning, working with everybody to get this done. And of course, Sean Donahue coming in here recently and helping to wrap things up and dealing with one of the issues that this project has had is supply chain issues, and we would like to have been opening this last year, but it had all those challenges that everybody's had. I think we're coming out of that now, but I think in the end, the design, it fits Jensen Beach, has a lot of the Jensen Beach stamp on it, and I'm sure Commissioner Smith can talk a little bit about that. But also want to thank the chief for pushing administration and the county to build facilities that are to last a generation. And I think it's a testament to everybody that's here how important these facilities are. Rocco Napoli, Joe Labesco, and Matt Resch of Fire Rescue are also a big part of the team of making this happen. From our construction team, civil engineering, Oates Reese from Bowman Consulting, our architect Chris Zimmerman and Chris Craddock from CPC Architects, our landscape architect Brian Nolan and from Thomas Lucido and Associates, MEP John Mayer from Consulting, structural engineering Michael Liu from ML Engineering, and our general contractor Joe Spees, Billy Rash, Brent Martin from Morganti Construction, who brought it home and in the end for us, and we really appreciate all the work. So if you could give them all a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And finally, I'd like to again thank the county commissioners for supporting our reinvestment in the facilities that we own. It's taken a lot of effort. We borrowed significant funds to make these projects happen. And without their support, we wouldn't be able to deliver projects like this today. And so, again, thank you all very much, and I'll turn it back over to Chief.
All right, next I would like to invite up Commissioner Campy.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ed Campy. I have the honor and the privilege of representing my colleagues as this year's chair. And these are the days like today where I'm really honored to have this title, to get an opportunity to speak to the members of our community that are here. The chief sort of touched on it a little bit. This is your fire station. You paid for this fire station. The taxpayers of Martin County paid for this fire station. And it was a smart investment. As the chief said, it was a smart investment because I think all of us understand the first thing that our residents expect, the first thing that you expect from your community, from your government, is safety. And we are blessed. Now, there are 67 counties in Florida, but we are absolutely blessed to have one of, if not the best, public safety apparatus in our county, whether it's fire rescue or the sheriff's office, ocean rescue. You are safe here. And we feel as commissioners, my colleagues, Stacey Hetherington, Doug Smith, who you'll hear from, Harold Jenkins, Sarah Hurd, we understand that that's your priority. It's ours as well. When I first became a commissioner, I had the opportunity of riding around with one of your fire rescue personnel. He's here. His name is Rick Sturl. And he toured me to all the fire stations. Now, as a resident, you drive past a station in your community all the time. You see the doors, they're either open or closed. You see your personnel maintaining the trucks, washing the trucks, coming back or leaving for a call. But what you don't know is that a lot of those stations, and I'm happy to say that they don't exist anymore, but a lot of those stations, right behind those doors, were substandard living conditions. Now, if you work somewhere during the day, and it's really not ideal, the bathroom's not great, the place is a little run down, at the end of the day, you go home and you sleep in your bed. But if you're a fire rescue personnel, if you're an EMT or a paramedic, you live where you work. You sleep and shower and eat where you work. And I, on behalf of you all, as a fellow resident, was embarrassed. They didn't complain. They sort of understood what their circumstances were, and they made the best of it. Taped cabinet doors closed with duct tape, cleaned the bathrooms as well as they could, slept all jammed into a bunk room, separated only by metal lockers. It was not ideal. And my colleagues and I made a commitment not only to the community, but to the men and women of fire rescue, that we would not stand for that any longer. And we took on a relatively Herculean task that we had no idea a pandemic would come. We'd have no idea that there'll be supply chain issues. And we said, we're not going to do them one at a time. It would have taken forever. One would get done while 3 others were still struggling and living in near squalid conditions. We started on all of them. Don Donaldson at the time was a deputy administrator. Taryn Krizda did a lot of the heavy lifting, the colleagues. First, we had to figure out how to pay for it. And then we had to figure out the logistics of making it happen while still providing the services that you need. Today is the 4th of 4. As I was driving over here, 3 bridges for me to get here from Palm City, but it was still worth it. South County, US 1, Britt Road, and now Hutchinson Island. You can be proud of the community that you live in, that we respect the people that protect us. We had the sheriff yesterday at our commission meeting talking about what he is up against, what they're up against at the jail. And we as commissioners will commit to the sheriff like we've committed to fire rescue. We won't allow that to happen in your community either. The sheriff is really concerned about mental health issues, so are we. Now, those mental health issues also translate over to fire rescue. You've heard people that are critical and complainers say, well, fire rescue, there's no skyscrapers in Martin County. They get to go to Publix. They have reclining chairs in their stations. I don't think most of us would want to trade and become fire rescue for what they have to go through. I always say the same thing. No one calls 911 to say they're having a terrific day. The emotional and mental stress that they are under, the least we can do as a community, especially as commissioners, is give them a place where they can come back, decompress, relax a little bit, because we have no idea what the next call would be. The next call might be your house, God forbid, but it could. What we as commissioners owe the community and our members of fire rescue is that they are properly trained, that they are properly equipped, and they live in a position in a place that is appropriate of their very difficult jobs. And I'm so happy today to be standing here. I know this took a long time to get squared away. We have the fire rescue training facility that's coming up online next. And then I say this to you, I see sort of the cycle of fire rescue personnel in this room. There are young children, some babies, children of fire rescue personnel that are here today. Many of them statistically will follow in their parents' footsteps and become fire rescue personnel. Then right in front of me and behind you is our next recruit class. They will take the mantle, and I got a chance to speak to some of them, and some of them I know, they're locals. They grew up in this community, and they're going to serve the community that they grew up in, which I think is remarkable. And then we have our active personnel that are here and also all over the rest of the county serving us and protecting us. And then we have our retirees that are sitting in this room that, yes, they might have stopped coming every day to their job of rescuing us. I see this gentleman right here, retired captain. If you're retired fire rescue, would you please stand up or wave your hand so we could acknowledge you? I think similar to Marines, they say Marines never retire. I don't think fire rescue personnel ever genuinely retire. You see a code 3 racing down the street, you're interested. You live near the fire station. So we go from children to recruits to current to retirees. We owed you this. We owe the recruits that are coming in. You will never know what it's like to live in a substandard fire station as long as you work in Martin County. And to the young ones that are here, the children, they might take this station, and by the time they get here, it could be 20 to 25 years old, but it was designed and built in such a way that it won't ever have the problems that some of the old stations will. And my final comment is this: we will spend your money appropriately because it's necessary, because this is a building where heroes live. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite up Commissioner Smith.
Oh, I always hate following him. First of all, I don't know if I could take that long because I can't compete with the time that he can do this, but anyway. First and foremost, good morning, welcome to our new fire station. I am Doug Smith, your District 1 County Commissioner, and you are in District 1. Ed, Stacy. I'd like to start off my comments with, would everybody sitting down please look around the room and give a round of applause for everybody in green and blue and dark navy blue, please. They are what makes us so special. Ed touched on it, Chief touched on it. Without this group, a lot of things don't happen. And time, absolutely. I love how Chad has mastered this opening the way he does. Time is everything. Seconds are everything. The design of this building means a lot to every single second. And I really, of all the station openings I've been to, this is now the second one that the Chief has overseen. And that opening is really fantastic because it really does frame the millions of dollars we spend on these facilities is really investing in time. And I think it's a brilliant way to start off the conversation because everything that every one of these personnel in back from both our Sheriff's Department and our Fire Rescue Department do relies on time and seconds. Because when you do dial 911, you expect these men and women to show up well-trained, on time, quickly, and efficiently. And they do an amazing job of that. I want to take you back, and it won't take an hour to do this, but I'll take a few minutes. Years and years ago when I first moved here, I ended up starting to work at the Elliott Museum over here to my right, your left. And it always used to be a thought in the back of my mind that the fire station back then even seemed old and antiquated at that time, and that was 30 years ago. And it was always kind of a dream of mine that, well, if we could ever reposition the old fire station to someplace different, we could free up that space for the park, we could free up that space for the expansion of the Elliott, and we could create a new location. And if possible, if we could site it in a way that we could pick up time on getting to the southern end of the island and to the northern end of the island with access, would that be a better choice to make? And so thanks to Stacy, thanks to Ed, and thanks to our other commissioners, they gave us the ability and the votes to support dismantling the old water plant that was here. For those of you who remember the water tank that used to be out back here, which was actually part of the plan too, that maybe we would use the water tank and incorporate that in as an exercise facility. We did that up in Jensen Beach at the water facility up there. There's actually office space in the old water tank up there, which I thought was kind of a neat thing. But ultimately the decision was to tear that down and build this facility as you see it today. The idea for the design came from a whole bunch of different facilities that we have seen over the years. But I wanted this one to be a little bit different and a little bit special. And thankfully, the commission again supported me in the ideas of having a roundish shaped roof, which is a very different roof style than we have on our other facilities. But the interior components are the same. It's just how they all fit together with a different style roof. The funny part about this, with the supply chain issues that we had, I remember speaking out at Sailfish Point a couple months ago, and I think it was the very first question that we got, Don, when we were speaking, was, what's with the hideous, ugly yellow doors? Right? I mean, I assume some of you remember those things, right? And I had to ask the first time I came out on the tour, I'm like, I assume those aren't staying, right? And they said, oh no, we can't get the glass. And so it was a temporary component of those doors, of these doors. Why we didn't paint them red or something, I'm still not quite sure. But if we got any sort of criticism at all for what we were doing here, it was about the yellow on the doors. And thankfully, the day that stuff came off was like the best day you could ever have out here. But they did a remarkable job. Morganti and all the contractors, thank you for everything you've done to put this facility together. This is a generational change for the island and certainly for our fire rescue department. And as Ed said, it is the future of how we deliver service and how we think about fire rescue and the delivery of that and our investment that we make in it. And so To the residents for Hutchinson Island, I hope you like it. I hope you're happy with what we've done. We have and we will end up tearing down the old fire station. We will free up that space. We have had an agenda item months ago to talk about the Elliott leasing a portion of the space that will remain for their expansion that they have coming up, which is really exciting. We'll pick up some extra parking at the park facility, which is, again, needed and exciting for when we have really packed days out there. And so a lot of good things happened from a project that's really been lingering for probably a better part of 20 years. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of it. To our fire rescue staff, thank you every single day that you show up and you put your uniform on and you do for this community what you do. To our sheriff's department in the back, likewise. You all put yourselves in front of stuff that, as Ed said, half of us, if not almost all of us in this room, would never want to have to confront on a daily basis. And we take that for granted sometimes because when we see these doors open and the trucks go out, they're just going and doing their job. Well, they are, but it's a job that none of us would want to have to do on a daily basis because it's really tough out there. And we really do appreciate every single thing you all do for us. So thank you very much. Enjoy your new station. Thank you to the residents for tolerating the time it took us to open it. Trust me, we pushed as hard as we could push to get fuses, which seems kind of silly that we had this beautiful building built and we had fuses that we couldn't get and other things. But anyway, thank you very much and enjoy your day, and thanks for coming out.
All right, next we'd like to perform the ribbon cutting. If I gotta have everyone stand up front. All right, so next I'm going to do something, but I need to give you a warning before we do it. So what you're going to hear now, it's going to be a recorded version of it, but it's our alert tones of how we are dispatched to emergency calls. I'm going to ask the ones that have sensitive hearing, you may need to cover up because I don't know how loud these speakers are. So go ahead, Jerry. Okay, so it's not that loud. So I promise you, when we go to a call, it's much louder. That's not it. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on.
As they serve.
You want to try it again? They want one more attempt.
Attention all units, attention all stations. On behalf of Martin County Fire Rescue and the Board of County Commissioners, we are proud to announce the grand opening of Martin County Fire Rescue Station 14. This station will serve the residents of Hutchinson Island. May God bless the firefighters as they serve our community, protecting lives and property. Station 14 is officially in service.
All right. We don't normally have dispatchers standing at a speaker to hit that, so just rest assured we'll be there. So in closing, I just want to say this really to the firefighters of Station 14, and Commissioner Campy kind of hit on this. I want to thank you for your commitment to the organization and your commitment to the community. We all know you were living in substandard living, but now this right here, we couldn't be more proud of the moment to bring you into a modern fire station for today's modern firefighter. So welcome to your new home. And for the community members, we're going to close this out, but what I encourage you all to do, please get up, tour the station, tour the trucks, but more importantly, what I would like you to do is talk to your firefighters. Get to know them, have a conversation with them. You will never have this opportunity on an emergency scene because we don't have the time for that. This is the time to meet your local firefighters. So please, thank you for being here, and please stay safe. Thank you.